Welcome to a quick tutorial on layers in Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop CS5, but this should work in any Photoshop version. What I have on the screen is just a simple little series of objects that I put together to make this circle with the word layers in there. I got my logo on there. And I just want to show you what's what. Layers are nothing more than objects stacked on top of each other. This is the layer stack. I've got a background, which is nothing but just a white fill layer. I've got my circle, I've got my text, and I've got my logo down there in the right hand corner. Basically, when these are all on separate layers, I can do anything I want to each one of these layers. For example, if I don't like the red circle, I can highlight it and I can erase it, and I can put a new circle in there with a different color. And I'll choose like a blue, and I can come back in here and just put a new layer in there. So you can manipulate a layer and nothing else in the image gets taken away. The other thing you can do is you can arrange these in any way you want. In other words, if I move the circle on top of the text layers, I cover it up and I could put it back. My logo really isn't on top of anything, so there's nothing I can really do with that. But if I wanted to move my logo, say, up here, I could, and it doesn't affect the rest of the image. Now let's say I wanted to put something else inside the circle. I would highlight my layer with the circle. I would come down here to the bottom to the new layer icon and click on it. And now I can grab a circle, make it smaller, come inside of here, and add a circle inside. Basically, I have not touched the rest of the objects in this image. All I've done is added another layer. I can turn it off, turn it on. I can still turn the blue off, and so forth and so on. That's layers. That's what layers can do for you. On the bottom here, you have several different icons. You've got a trash can. Let's say I don't like that red circle. I can just drop it in the trash can. You've got the new layer icon, which I just showed you, but also if you drag an existing layer down to the new layer icon, you get a duplicate copy of it. It's the same thing as the Windows shortcut command Control-J. On here you have the groups. You can create a group, and what groups are, you can put multiple layers into one group. So you can manipulate all those layers at one time. This is your image adjustment levels. You can go to any one of these and it will actually just create a new layer. Let's see, if I want to go to curves, it would automatically give me a curves layer, and I could do what I wanted to do to the image with that curves layer. And this rectangle represents a layer mask, and that will be covered in a different tutorial. Right now I don't really need the curve, so I'm going to drag it down to the trash can. And here's for the effects. Whatever layer you're on, you can put effects on it. And I'm going to make my logo a little bit larger so you can see that. Let me turn off the circle here. Click OK. Turn off my circle so you can see it. But if I go to the effects here and I go to blending options, it pulls up a whole other menu. In that menu you have your drop shadow, which I can add a drop shadow, an inner glow, an outer glow, and you can just do all kinds of things to it and change the layer effect of the layer itself. I'm going to cancel that, and I'm going to turn my circle back on, and I'm going to change my logo back to what it was. Incidentally, when you're doing a transform, if you hold the shift button down, it leaves your item that you're transforming in proper perspective. Otherwise you could squish the logo, which I think I did a little bit of that when I was trying to manipulate it. And then lastly, you can link layers together. Let's say I want the text layers in here to be matched up with the circle. I can highlight both layers, click the link button, and now if I move them, they move together. That's important if you have multiple layers doing one thing on a picture. Then you can link them all together so that if you need to move something around, they move all at one time. And of course, you can highlight them again and click the link button and they unlink. Now let's say I didn't like the circle being as dark as it is. I could highlight the circle lever, go up here to the opacity, and I could lower the opacity, and as you can see, the lower I go, the lighter the circle gets. The higher I go, the higher the circle gets. Same thing with fill mode. The lower I go, the lighter the circle gets, and then you go back up to 100%, it's dark again. And these are the blending modes. I can darken it, I can multiply it, I can make it lighter, I can make it overlay, make it pin light. These all do different things, and it's fun to kind of just play with them and see what they do to your image. It also is great to play with them with text. So that's kind of like your layers palette. There's your icons on the bottom, your layer stack, your fill, your opacity, your layer styles, and that's it in a nutshell. Be on the lookout for my next tutorial. Thank you very much.